In a significant geopolitical development, Russia has officially announced that its long-discussed strategic cooperation agreement with Iran has now come into full force. The declaration, confirmed by both Moscow and Tehran, signals a deepening alliance between two countries increasingly aligned against Western influence and shared regional threats. According to reports from Russian state media, the agreement, which has been under negotiation for years, includes a wide range of cooperation mechanisms, from defense and intelligence sharing to trade, energy, and infrastructure partnerships. Both nations have described the deal as a comprehensive roadmap for the next 2 decades. In a joint statement released today, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and his Iranian counterpart Hossein Amir-Abdollahian declared that the agreement will serve as a pillar of regional stability and ensure that both countries stand united against what they termed as common threats orchestrated by external powers. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and Russian President Vladimir Putin have both expressed satisfaction over the finalization of the deal, calling it a milestone in strategic cooperation between Moscow and Tehran. Khamenei emphasized that Iran's partnership with Russia reflects the nation's commitment to an independent and multipolar world order, free from Western domination. Strengthening bilateral relations. The agreement underscores a visible shift in global alliances. For decades, Iran and Russia have shared mutual interests in challenging U.S. influence, particularly in the Middle East. The two countries have already cooperated closely in Syria, where Russian and Iranian support was instrumental in maintaining the Assad government. Now, under this binding strategic framework, cooperation is expected to expand further, particularly in defense technology transfers, joint military training, and intelligence coordination. Russian analysts say this pact mirrors Moscow's intent to form stronger ties with non-Western powers amid escalating tensions with NATO and the European Union. Economic and energy cooperation. Beyond defense, the agreement highlights strong economic commitments. Iran, still under harsh Western sanctions, views this partnership as an economic lifeline. Russia, facing its own sanctions after the Ukraine war, is looking for new trade routes and reliable partners outside Western systems. Both sides have agreed to increase bilateral trade in local currencies, the ruble and rial, to bypass the US dollar. Additionally, energy projects form the cornerstone of this agreement. Russia's Gazprom and Iran's national oil company are expected to launch new joint ventures in gas exploration and infrastructure development, particularly in the Caspian Sea region. According to Iranian media, the total value of these projects could exceed $40 billion, making it one of the largest energy cooperation deals in recent years. Security and defense implications. The most sensitive component of the agreement relates to military cooperation. Russian officials have hinted that Moscow will enhance Iran's defense capabilities by sharing advanced surveillance technologies and possibly upgrading Iran's missile systems. While neither side confirms specific weapons transfers, Western intelligence sources have already expressed concerns. Washington officials have called the deal a dangerous escalation, claiming it could destabilize the already fragile Middle East balance. Meanwhile, Iranian officials assert that the partnership is purely defensive and intended to ensure security in the face of regional threats, a reference widely interpreted as Israel and U.S. military presence in the Gulf. Shared vision against Western pressure. At the heart of this alliance lies a shared political ideology, opposition to what both nations describe as Western hegemony. In recent months, both Russia and Iran have faced diplomatic isolation and economic restrictions from Western countries. Tehran's growing closeness with Moscow, alongside its developing ties with Beijing, indicates a clear shift toward the emerging Eastern Bloc, where energy, military, and strategic interests are deeply intertwined. President Putin recently stated that the era of unipolar domination is over and that the new agreement with Iran represents a practical step toward a more balanced international order. Iranian Foreign Minister Amir Abdollahian echoed similar sentiments, saying, "This agreement ensures that Iran and Russia will stand together against coercion, defend mutual interests, and protect the independence of our nations." Regional and global reactions. Reactions across the Middle East have been mixed. Countries like Syria and Iraq have quietly welcomed the deal, seeing it as a stabilizing factor against Western intervention. However, Israel and some Gulf nations have expressed alarm, warning that this new partnership could embolden Iran's regional influence. The United States has voiced concern, with the State Department issuing a statement that Washington remains deeply troubled by expanding Russia-Iran cooperation. Western analysts fear that this pact could lead to greater arms exchanges, intelligence sharing, and perhaps even direct military coordination. Meanwhile, China has reportedly supported the move, viewing it as consistent with its own Belt and Road strategy and its call for a multipolar world order. Long-term strategic impact. Experts believe this agreement marks a new phase in the geopolitical landscape. For Russia, isolated from the West, Iran represents a gateway to the Middle East and South Asia. For Iran, Russia provides critical diplomatic backing at the United Nations and access to advanced technologies otherwise restricted under sanctions. Dr. Vladimir Sotnikov, a Moscow-based analyst, noted, "This alliance is not just symbolic, it's structural. It's about building an alternative network of power that challenges Western economic and military dominance." Similarly, Iranian analysts have argued that this deal will help Tehran withstand Western pressure, ensure regional security, and expand its influence in trade and defense across Asia. Conclusion. As the Russia-Iran strategic agreement officially takes effect, the global balance of power continues to shift. Both countries, bound by sanctions and opposition to Western dominance, are aligning their futures toward cooperation in energy, defense, and international politics. While the West